स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते पवित्रं चरितं यस्याः पवित्रं जीवनं तथा पवित्रता स्वरूपिणी तस्मै देव्यै नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. Dear friends, so we are back again and probably we can discuss something more on the PPTs which were shared this week. So I think the first PPT was about Swami Vivekananda's thoughts on Vedanta, and as we all know, he was the epoch maker who turned the tables in favor of India after his world conquering tour of America. Swami Vivekananda's Vedanta, when we talk of what can be the idea in that, let us see some of these ideas. The major sources for this, as you can see here, are his lectures on Vedanta, both in India as well as in US and Europe. In fact, Chicago lectures are very important for this. His paper on Hinduism, first lecture. Then his lectures in London from 12th to 18th of 1896, part 1 to 3, 4. And then lectures from Colombo to Almora. These are the lectures which he especially gave to the youth of India. Here he delivered some of the very notable lectures like Future of Vedanta, Future of India, Practical Vedanta, and so on. My plan of campaign. Then the letters of Swami, these are also very important. Inspired talks he gave in US. He reiterated what some of the ideas which we have seen, that the central idea of Indian thought is that of oneness. You should have faith in yourself, and then you should have faith in God. This was one of the very important points Swami Vivekananda mentioned. It is not useful to drag the ideal down to suit the level of the people, to suit the level of masses. In fact, the individuals and the masses should be raised up to the ideal. Swamiji also gave a very new interpretation of Vedanta when he said that he is an atheist who does not believe in himself. All is God, all is in God, and God is in all. And some Mahavakyas which we have taken up earlier. He acknowledged that Upanishad is the main source of Indian knowledge, and though they were first discussed in forest in seclusion, but they were also reiterated and intensified on the battlefield of life. One of the biggest example of this is Bhagavad Gita, which was told on the battle of Kurukshetra in Mahabharata. So it is not just for the Vedanta is not just for some ascetics in forests. It is also for the kings who live in palaces, for administrators, for businessmen, in people who are in the market, who are selling grocery, selling vegetables, people who are butchers, housewives, everyone, a cobbler or a goldsmith. He explains how everybody should have this Vedanta in his life. Then Swamiji tells some stories in his, if you read his lectures, one of the ascetic, he got very angry, and then he looked up on the in that tree, and he found that some birds were singing, and that disturbed his sadhana. So just by his glance, that nest was set on fire, and those the birds and their siblings and the eggs, everything got destroyed. So he thought, I had done something great. When he went to the city and called a housewife for a bhiksha, she taught a lesson to him, and she said that I am doing I'm giving medicine to my sick husband, and don't try your tricks which you did with those birds. I'm doing my duty. My doing my duty is my dharma, and that is my sadhana. So you got a lesson of life that ultimately karma, doing your karmas faithfully, is the Vedanta's very crux. And then Swamiji explains how she further guided him to go to a butcher, Dharmavyadha. And then Dharmavyadha, when he was doing that business of selling meat, he was teaching him Vedanta. So all these things told us that the work doesn't matter, type of work what you do does not matter, the way you are born does not matter. Everybody can have this great ideas of Vedanta for him. And then we saw so many examples of Satyakam, Nachiket, and Prabhu. Swamiji gave a wonderful line called as each soul is potentially divine, and the goal in his life is to manifest this divinity within. This entire sense of Vedanta what he gave, that each one is Amrutasya Putra. This is also a quote from Upanishads, Shurvantu Vishwe Amrutasya Putra. And the goal in the life is to manifest this divinity. Each one can become divine. That's why he said that Vedanta is a language of all. We all live, breathe, eat, drink Vedanta. We live in Vedanta, we die in Vedanta. And Vedanta teaches us to be abhi, fearless, teaches us strength, not at all weakness. Condemning or criticizing is not at all part of any religion or Vedanta. And there is no sin. It is in fact sin to call somebody a sinner. There is no sin. There can be error. So each one can be lifted up. Each one can be allowed to be forgiven and try again. And there is no sinner, and there is no eternal hell in which he will go. That is what Vedanta tells us. It gives us assurance to be fearless. One of the names to the God is Abhi. And then he says that each one can be a god. What is the difference? The difference is in the manifestation. In some it is manifested well, in some it is yet to be manifested. And there is no extraterrestrial god. Each one is God. So there is immanent God, it is individual God, there is the God beyond, but each one is a part of it, and each thing is God. So there is nothing like an extraterrestrial God who is just looking at our plight and our miseries and getting happy with that. No, that's not the idea of Vedanta. God is that solves a very great philosophical problem of why there is evil in world, because this is a very it's very intriguing question for any philosophy or any world's thought or thinkers, that why there is evil and how God can justify so much evil happening. So Vedanta answers all those critical questions by saying that God is in each thing, in good or evil. All power is in each one. Manifestation is different. So it's like Yathadarsho Malinacha. The mirror is covered by the dust. If you remove the dust, you can see the reflection of yourself. So that's why it is important, because all are God, I need to serve others. That is the service part of practical Vedanta. I should feel very bad when I see somebody. Vedanta is not for empty stomachs, Swamiji said. I don't believe in religion which cannot wipe a widow's tears or orphan's wails. So dedicate your life for a great cause. There has to be a selfless, pure conviction in the heart, gigantic will, and muscles of iron and nerves of steels. That is what he said. And day and night think of that. That is the self-suggestion you should give, that I am birthless, I am deathless, I am blissful, Shuddhoham, Buddhoham, Amrutoham. And out of that fullness of heart, the mouth will speak and good things will happen to you. Feel like a Buddha and you will be a Buddha. So that is how very positive, very life-giving, very invigorating ideas of Vedanta Swamiji once again uttered for the modern world. That is why understanding Vedanta through him is very significant, rather than going to some very complex shlokas and getting lost in that. They are all great, but if we are not going to go deeper into that, then better to understand through some master like Swami Vivekananda or Sherpa. Thus this Vedanta has throughout interpenetrated. Morning also I was telling the video, we live Vedanta, we die in Vedanta. And then he says break the chains of karma and just break free, expect nothing, and serve man and serve God. Shivo Bhavi Jiva Seva. In his address at Narnad, which is one of the most important addresses he gave in after coming back from US, Colombo Palmyra lectures, there he said that if you don't believe in the beggar who is sitting outside, if you cannot provide food to him, then you cannot believe in the God which is inside. So Shiva in that beggar is equal as Shiva inside the temple. Just like Ramanujacharya. This was a great humanitarian or great idea which never before in the modern world somebody had spoken so eloquently as Swami Vivekananda. So be and make. First change yourself, first become great, first become pure, and then change the world also. That is why I was quoting that going forth of Vivekananda to the West was the first visual sign that India is awake not just to survive but to conquer. That is how Swami Vivekananda has been praised. And he gave the ideals of renunciation and service. He said India has got these two ideals. Intensify it in these two channels and then the rest will take care of itself. That's why action, karma, then knowledge, dhyana, and then bhakti, devotion, and then psychic control or Raj Yoga, as yoga as we understand it, breathing control and the prana control. And he had great faith that new India can arise out of his peasant's cottage, grasping plough, out of the huts and fishermen and cobbler and sweeper, and everybody is going to do something for this new India. That is in fact what we mean by, he is the probably originator of this idea of totally dependent on self, to be totally elevating self. So elevation of masses, they are going to decide the nation, and that's why we need to make Vedanta very simple for them. He was telling to remove all the complexity, jargon, and to make it as simple as child's lessons, and put Sanskrit ideas in simple local languages in English and broadcast it to the entire world, because it is meant for the entire world. It is not only for India, for the entire world, for all the ages, especially the modern age which is suffering from all these things. So build the future based on the past, take good things from the past, and then look at the present things and make it even greater, even better. That is how he had great faith in younger generation. He had faith in women, how they will be able to solve their problems. So this is in short, we can say, is a great understanding of the world mover, Yuddha Sannyasi, the great reformer saint Swami Vivekananda. Thank you so much.